All right. So after this, we have the drainage system in India. So as we have already seen in the previous slides, right, that there are certain drainage patterns that forms in a particular location or geographical area. So in the case of India, so we have drainage system of India are mainly controlled by broad relief features of subcontinents. So that means, as we have already discussed and I have explained just before, that India being a massive country with a different physiographic division, or we can say the physical division or features, right? So that ultimately has an impact on the, let's say, flow of rivers or the streams, right? So then we have the Indian river systems are divided into two groups, or major two groups, that are, as we have studied in physical geography or physical features of India in the previous session. There we came across different physical features of India. So among them, so when we try to apply that particular knowledge in this chapter, then we have two major groups in terms of river system. So that are like Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. So I hope Himalayas, right, you people are well aware of where are the Himalayas located in India and in peninsula also. So just if I need to tell you about certain features of these two rivers, so the very common or the basic differences is in terms of Himalayan rivers, they are perennial, which means it runs or flows throughout the year. The source of the water in the river comes from rainfall as well as from the melting glaciers. And whereas in the case of peninsular rivers, so most of the peninsular rivers are the seasonal rivers. That means they the volume of water increases, or let's say the river continuously flows till there is a rainfall. Other than that, during the dry season, most of the time these peninsular rivers dries up, right, and becomes very shorter, as well as the volume of water in this river decreases. Okay, so before we'll just go to the Himalayan rivers and their major features. So as we can see, the Himalayan rivers, so the major Himalayan rivers are like in India are like the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. So Indus, right, it enters the Kashmir region, and whereas Ganga, it originates from Gangotri glaciers in Uttarakhand, and then we have Brahmaputra. Most of the, let's say, course of Brahmaputra rivers runs parallel to the Himalayas, as we already studied, and it enters into India from the state Arunachal Pradesh, and it gets discharged in Bay of Bengal. So after this, these rivers are long and joined by many large rivers and important tributaries. So that means the river from its origin, it does not has the same volume, right? So the volume of the water increases in river by the contribution of the major tributaries. So most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial, as I have already mentioned, which means it flows throughout the year. And the Himalayan rivers have long courses from its source to the sea. Let's say if we talk about the Indus River, right? Though the majority of the Indus River flows towards Pakistan, but at the same time, if we talk about the Ganga, right, which originates at the Gangotri glacier in Uttarakhand, and it gets discharged in Bay of Bengal. So likewise, we have Brahmaputra also. So then we have they perform intensive erosional activities in their upper courses and carry huge amount of sand and silt. So that means we know very well the prime duty or prime activity of the rivers, right? Let's say depends upon like it is erosional and deposition, right? So as we know, these rivers are very massive with the volume of water it carries, right? And at the same time, the process of erosion also increases, and leading to the huge deposition of sediments. So after this, we have the Indus River system. So Indus River, it basically originates, it rises in Tibet near Lake Mansarovar, and it enters India in Ladakh, which is now Union Territory, and it creates picturesque gorges in parts. So it normally what we witness when we try to visit certain places which has rivers, right? So we come across beautiful gorge, right? Twists and turns made by the rivers. So that twist and turn has appeared or took place mainly because of the erosional and depositional work of the river, as we have already mentioned in the previous slide. After this, we have several tributaries: the Zaskar, the Nubra, the Siok, and the Hunza, right? Joins Indus in Kashmir region, but at the same time, other rivers are also there, like Satluj, Beas, Chenab, Ravi, right? We'll come to that later on. The Indus flow through Balochistan or Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from mountains at Attock. So most probably this region lies in the northern India. And the Satluj, the Beas, the Ravi, the Chenab, and the Jhelum joins together at the enters the Indus, right, and meets in Mithankot in Pakistan. So these 5 rivers, right, gets connected with the mainstream of Indus at the point called Mithankot, which is in Pakistan. So as I have already mentioned, Indus River, the majority of the water flows towards the Pakistan, right? And we have the Indus Treaty also, right? The Indus Plains have very gentle slope with a total length of 2,900 kilometers. So it has a gentle slope, not steep, right? So which ultimately, right, somehow benefits the agriculture production. And also not only confined with agriculture production or irrigation facilities, it also facilitate let's say for drinking water. As we already know, in Pakistan there is a huge shortage of drinking water or availability of water crisis, right? So the third one is the Indus River system. As you can see here in this map, right, Indus originates somewhere here, at Lake Mansarovar nearby, and then it enters Jammu and Kashmir, then it runs towards the Pakistan, and it gets connected by Jhelum, Ravi, Chenab, and Beas. This point is called Mithankot, which is in Pakistan, and gradually it gets discharged in Arabian Sea. Alright, so after this we have the Ganga river system. So Ganga, as we know very well, it is the river itself is considered as very sacred in terms of Hindu mythology, and as I have already mentioned that the Ganga, right, originates at Gangotri Glacier, in let's say Uttarakhand. So the name of Ganga it is known as Bhagirathi, and it's fed by Gomti, Gangotri glaciers, right? That means the origination of the river, and joined by the Alaknanda at Devprayag in Uttarakhand. Then we have at Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. So that means at Haridwar, we properly call it as Ganga. And we already know the Ganga later on, it is like, say, here Ganga is already also joined by, at this particular point, Allahabad, it gets connected by Yamuna. Okay, so the Ganga is joined by many tributaries from Himalayas, very obvious. A few of them being major rivers such as like Yamuna, as I've already mentioned, it gets connected with the Ganga at a point in Allahabad, which is in UP, Uttar Pradesh. Then you have Ghagra, then you have Gantak, and you have Kosi. So Ghagra, Gantak, and Kosi mostly comes from Nepal. Then we have the Yamuna rises from Yamunotri Glacier in Himalayas. So it is very similar. Yamuna originates from Yamunotri Glacier and Ganga originates from Gangotri Glacier. Then the length of the river Ganga is over 25,000 kilometers, the stretch or the length. And it is considered as the longest river, right? Though the longest river becomes the Brahmaputra, but most of the Brahmaputra's course lies outside India, so we consider Ganga as the longest river in India. After this, the remaining 3 rivers that are like this one, Kosi, right, Gantak, and Ghagra. Alright, so these main rivers, as I have already mentioned, they originate from Nepal Himalayas, and they brings floods in the parts of the northern plains every year, right? And we can view the flooding of this river from two perspective, right? From one point, it destroys lots of property and livestock, but at the same time, it somehow enriches the soil quality for new let's say cultivation or it makes soil renewed its fertility for coming cultivation, and it benefits ultimately to the agriculture and to the peasants. The main tributaries which comes from peninsular upland are Chambal, Betwa and Son. So these are the peninsular rivers that comes and joins with the. Then we have Bhagirathi Hooghly flows southwards, right? So Bhagirathi Hooghly, it flows towards the southwards through the deltic plains of Bay of Bengal. So here I need to make a correction. It is Bay of Bengal. So there was a mistype. Okay, so then we have the main stream flows southwards into the Bangladesh and it joins by the Brahmaputra. So here we know that the river Ganga, right? It joins with river Brahmaputra, right? Bangladesh. And that's how it becomes very massive in terms of volume. Further downstream it is known as Meghna. Oh yes. Then these mighty rivers with water from Ganga and Brahmaputra flows into Bay of Bengal and forms the Sundarban Delta. So as I have already mentioned before, so we have a prominent delta, right, largest delta, that is Sundarban Delta, and which is the outcome of depositional work of Ganga and Brahmaputra at Bay of Bengal, right. So here you can see Brahmaputra, right, it runs parallel to Himalayas. Then it enters here from Arunachal Pradesh, where it is known as Dihang, and gradually it enters Assam, then it enters into Bangladesh, and here it is met by the river Ganga. Okay, so here we have the river Brahmaputra. So Brahmaputra river rises from Tibet, in Tibet east of Mansarovar Lake, very close to the source of Indus and Satluj. Then we have, it is slightly longer than Indus and most of its course lies outside India, as I have already mentioned, right? It runs parallel to the Himalayas and it only enters India from the Arunachal Pradesh. It flows parallel to Himalayas, and on reaching Namcha Barwa, it takes U-turn and enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge. Gorge are the formation that made by the rivers. Here it is called as Dihang, and it is joined by Dibang and Lohit and many other tributaries to form Brahmaputra in Assam. So literally we call the river as Brahmaputra when it reaches Assam, right? Okay, so after this we have in Tibet, the river carries less volume of water and less silt in water as it is cold and dry region, but later on when it starts to enter into India, especially through the heavy rainfall areas, the volume of the water in the river increases, and that's how it erodes, right, or it carries sediments and silts along with it, right, from Assam and all. Then we have in India, it passes through the region of high rainfall, so the river carries huge volume of water and considerable amount of silts, which are very favorable or considered as very let's say good for agriculture land. Then we have every year during the rainy season, the river overflows its banks, causing widespread devastation due to the floods in Assam. So as we normally come across such news in Assam that Assam, let's say, has very tragic floods, right? So it mainly caused due to the rivers, and especially the river Brahmaputra. So as we already know, the sorrow of Bihar, it is known as the Kosi River. So river Kosi runs from Nepal. It originates in Nepal and Himalayas, but it ultimately becomes huge and floods Bihar. So Brahmaputra river is marked by huge deposit of silts on its bed, right, causing the riverbeds to rise. So once what happens if you if there is accumulation or depositional work of rivers for a long time, then ultimately that particular region becomes or consists of let's say huge amount of deposit, right? Okay, so then we have the peninsular rivers. So here now we are coming to a different section, peninsular. Till now we have been discussing about the Himalayan rivers, where we discuss about Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, which are the three major rivers. But now from here we will be discussing about the peninsular rivers. I hope you people know that which section or which part of India we call as peninsula. In the previous session we discussed about there are two divisions. The upper northern division is called Central Highland, whereas south of the river Narmada it is called as the Deccan Plateau, right? Okay, so here we have the Narmada, which intersect these two, which intersect the Peninsular Plateau into two divisions. One is the Central Highland, and the another part is, which looks like a triangle. If you remember last time we discussed about this, so the Deccan Plateau, right? Okay, so if here we have some prominent rivers such as like Narmada, Godavari, Tapi, Krishna, Kaveri, and Mahanadi. So we will be discussing about these rivers. So first of all, what are peninsular rivers? So peninsular rivers, a large number of peninsular rivers are seasonal. So as I have already mentioned, they totally depends upon the rainfall. If there is a heavy rainfall, then the amount or the volume of water in the river increases. But during the dry season, ultimately it gets dry up, and sometimes it's very short. And most of the peninsular rivers are short in terms of course. The peninsular rivers are shorter and shallower courses as compared to the Himalayan rivers. Then we have some of the peninsular river originates from Central Highland, which I was mentioning before, and flows towards the west. So most of the time, let's say, among these rivers, right, Narmada, Tapi, Damodar, we have Krishna, and we have Mahanadi, right? From among these rivers, right, there are only two rivers which flows on discharge in the south of India. So there are Tapi and river Narmada. So this is very important, and rest of the Himalayan peninsular rivers gets discharged in the Bay of Bengal. See why it is in such a way is, let's say, in the last session we discussed about the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat, where we came to know that Western Ghats are slightly higher than as compared to the Eastern Ghat. So ultimately, there is a maximum chances of river flowing towards the slope. Right, and that's how it has. We know that most of the Indian rivers, right, gets discharged in the Bay of Bengal, apart from Tapi and river Narmada. Most of the peninsular river originates in the Western Ghat and flows towards the Bay of Bengal. So that means from west to east. Right? Only Tapi river and Narmada flows towards or gets discharged in the western, that is in Arabian Sea. Now, the first one is the Narmada Basin. So Narmada Basin, so the Narmada Basin rises in the Amarkantak Hills in Madhya Pradesh. It flows towards the west in the Rift Valley, forms due to 40. So this Narmada, right, it originates in Madhya Pradesh, and due to the elevation of the Western Ghat, ultimately it flows towards the Bay of Bengal, right? And we know very well the river in his course, it makes different picturesque formation or landmass, or let's say gorges, right? Then we have the Narmada creates many picturesque location, right? So the marble rock near the Jabalpur, where it flows through the deep gorge, and the Dohadar Falls, where the river plunges over steep rock, are the notable ones. So these are the key features, right? All the tributaries of Narmada are very short, and most of this joins the main stream at right angles. So as we have discussed the patterns of the drain or river patterns, so right angle joins rectangular pattern. Alright, so then we have the Narmada Basin covers part of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. So these are the two states which the Narmada covers. And the Narmada Basin, so this is the marble rock of Jabalpur. It's very, very, let's say, picturesque and beautiful and prominent key features. And this is the Dohadar Fall. Alright, so these are in the pictures form. Okay, so after this we'll run to the Tapi Basin. So as I have mentioned before, that there are only two rivers in India which flows towards the west and gets discharged in the Arabian Sea. So there are Tapi and river Narmada. So the Tapi Basin, right? The Tapi rises from Satpura ranges in Bitul district of Madhya Pradesh. Again, if you see here the comparison between the Narmada and the Tapi, both of these rivers are rising from Madhya Pradesh. It also flows in the Rift Valley parallel to Narmada River. So and at the same time, but it is much shorter in the length as compared to Narmada River. It basin covers a part of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. So these are the three states where the Tapi River runs, and as compared to the Narmada River, it's shorter, and it flows parallel to the Narmada River. The coastal plains between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea, as we have already discussed this also in the previous session, there are coastal plains which lies or which is considered as a sandwich between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats, right? This particular region, right, are known as the coastal plains. Wow. Sea are very narrow, so that means the hence the coastal rivers are very short. That is why due to the course, or let's say Arabian Sea, due to the narrow of sea that ultimately leads to the coastal rivers to become very short. Then we have the main west flowing rivers are Sabarmati, Mahi, and Bharatpurja and Priyar. Okay, so these are the west flowing rivers. After this we have the Tapi River. So as I will show you in the pictures form, so this is the Tapi River, and here you can see Narmada flows from here and gets discharged in the Arabian Sea. And Tapi River, right, it also flows parallel. See here, it's parallel to the, but it as compared to the Narmada River, it's quite shorter. Also. After this we have Godavari Basin, right, and it is the largest peninsular river in the length, with the length of 1500 kilometers. So from Himalayan river, in general, Brahmaputra becomes very long, right? And in terms of Indus, it is also long, but most of the Indus River flows towards Pakistan. Now the Ganga. So Ganga we consider as the longest river in India. So similarly in peninsular rivers, we consider the peninsular river Godavari is the longest with a length of 1500 kilometers. So it rises from the slopes of Western Ghat in Nasik, district of Maharashtra, and drains into Bay of Bengal. So here we can see very clearly it rises from Western India, from the Western Ghat, and it flows towards the Bay of Bengal. Then its drainage basin is also largest among the peninsular river. It covers part of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Orissa. So these are the states where this river flows, and ultimately gets discharged in Bay of Bengal. So then we have it is joined by numbers of tributaries such as Purna, the Wardha, the Pranthita, the Manjra, and Wainganga and Penganga. So I'll try to show you in this in the map, right, of this location of these rivers. So the last three tributaries are very large and known as Dakshin Ganga. So Purab Ganga, Purab, Dakshin is Chojara, Dakshin Ganga. Alright, so these three, Manjra, Wainganga, and Penganga. So these are called as Dakshin Ganga. So this you have to remember. So as you can see here, so we have Wardha here, then we have Purna, right? So this is a particular map of this depicting the flow and the tributaries of Godavari Basin. Alright, so after this we have Mahanadi Basin. So in Mahanadi Basin, it rises from the highland of Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh gi anjugi sa thosado thokando ni ma phapor eslare. After this we have it flows through Orissa and reaches the Bay of Bengal. So it's very short as compared to Chhattisgarh till the Orissa. Bay of Bengal. The length of river is about like 960 kilometers. It's very short as compared to other rivers, which has like 1500 kilometers. Then we have its drainage basin is shared by Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Orissa. So basin and we already discussed about the basin, how it looks like. So basin and surrounded by the water divide, right? And whatever amount of water flows, it gets ultimately connected to the particular region which gets drained by rivers and its tributaries ultimately. So after this we have the Mahanadi Basin. The Mahanadi Basin, see that here, right, in this part, right, Chhattisgarh, and it enters into the Bay of Bengal. So this is the picture of Mahanadi River. So then we have the Krishna Basin. So Krishna River, it rises from the spring near Mahabaleshwar. Spring na zo chumik dojla ba tende ma thongore lare. And the river flows about like 1400 kilometers and reaches the Bay of Bengal. So here, if you see, the most common thing is these rivers get discharged in Bay of Bengal. And some of the tributaries of River Krishna are Tungabandra, the Kona, and Ghatprabha, and the Musi, and the Bhima. So these are the tributaries of River Krishna. And its drainage basin shared by Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the three states, right, through where this river flows, and this particular state comes under the basin of drainage of River Krishna. And here we have Bhima, we have Krishna River, so Tungabandra is here, Konya is here. So river the tributaries and also so after this we have the Kaveri River or Kaveri Basin. So Kaveri rises in Brahmagiri range of the Western Ghat. So most of these rivers origins in the Western Ghat, apart from, let's say, the very recent one. And the Ghat, it reaches the Bay of Bengal in the south of Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu. Wow. We are talking about the southern side of India. The total length of the river is 760 kilometers. The main tributaries are Amravati, Bhavani, Hamavati, and Kabini. So these are the tributaries. That means small streams which gets connected into the main river, that is Kaveri River. Right? Its basin drains part of Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. So this states comes under the drainage basin of this particular river, that is Kaveri River. Then we have Kaveri Basin. I'll just try to show you pictures. So here we are talking about Karnataka, and this is the Bay of Bengal. So this we can consider as a formation of delta, right, where most of the time the river gets deposits lots of sediments and silts. Okay. All right. So after this we will come to the lakes. And so India has many lakes. They differ in size and other factors. So most of the lakes are permanent. Some lakes, some contains water only during the rainy season. So as I've already mentioned, right, the source of some rivers and the lakes depends upon the rainfall, or amount of rainfall received by a particular geographical area. So then we have the Mandarin River across the floodplains from cuts off that later develops into Oxbow Lake. Example, Chilika Lakes, Pulishat Lakes. So Oxbow Lake. So Oxbow Lakes are normally once it used to be a course of river, but ultimately due to the deposition work and erosional work, somehow this turn gets cut off from the mainstream, and it forms a Oxbow Lake. The lakes in the regions are sometimes seasonal. Example, Sambar Lake. Seasonal na chadu kapsula chigyan chudi khorange lake di chimbo shu chache. Chudina chuma boyo chimbo shu chache. And chadu ma sauce na ya di chudi shu nyunu bro. Makamza dende nerang to shakara. Dende rojina so. Most of the freshwater lakes are in Himalayan region, so it is very important. Though we have certain lakes in Peninsula Plateau, but at the same time, it lacks the freshwater. And we consider, and we believe it is in India. We measure the source of freshwater lakes coming from the Himalayan region due to the melting of glaciers. Whereas in the southern part, most of the water it contains salt, salinity layer. Once again. Walur Lake in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is largest freshwater lake in India. So Walur Lake Jammu and Kashmir. We have seen that particular lake in many movies, right? Okay, I'll show you the picture also. So then the Dal Lake, right? Bhimtal, Nainital, Loktal, and Barapani are some of the important freshwater lakes. The decaying is called like chudi chutunga tungshu yimba tunga tungyu bar the nigga chu sangma chela the data chela tungshu sangma doji dan chu dinalogic chu tungyu but the mangchi kawari gana kawaraj lavsna manzo mangchi the kangju kangju ma those shujima chungores. So this, right, I just try to bring a few pictures. So this is the Dal Lake, right, which is in Kashmir. We have, you people might have seen this particular lake in many movies also. Okay. So after this, we have certain roles of lakes. So what roles does the lakes play? It helps, right, to regulate the flow of river. Very obvious. If there is a heavy rainfall, right, if there is no lake, then definitely floods the lower regions, right? And it prevents flooding, and during the dry season it helps to maintain an even flow of water. So lakes somehow act as a reservoir, where we can rely on it during the dry season, when there's a shortage of water. All right. And it also prevents from flooding. And a lake can be used for developing hydel power. So mostly, right, when we say hydel power, then we are trying to generate electricity, right, from water. Then they moderate the climate of the surroundings. It's very true. See, we have certain terms like sea breeze, so wherever there is a lake, you will find that particular area experiences very moderate type of climate or weather, right, because of, let's say, the amount of becoming heated, right, during the daytime, and the rate of decrease losing of heat from water, right? So that you will going to study in the coming years, right? But yes, it's very true that wherever you come across lakes or, let's say, pond, you've experienced that particular location or area receives or experiences moderate climate, right? All right. After this, it maintains the aquatic ecosystem, enhance the natural beauty. Yes, very true. So it somehow helps to preserve, or somehow it facilitates or conservation of aquatic ecosystem, and at the same time it also enriches the beauty of that particular locality or location, such as like we have Kashmir, we have Dal Lake, so where most of the time tourists comes, or let's say it becomes a tourist attraction, and which ultimately boosts the economy of that particular area. So after this, we have the roles of river in economy. So see, I have mentioned this once, that the early civilization, happened community level. So most of the early civilization they took place, or they formed near the river banks. Why? Because, let's say, river facilitates them with navigation facilities. At the same time, due to the fertility of that particular area, it somehow makes them able to grow crops and to settle in that particular area. So we'll be talking about few important things about river and how it contributes to the economy. So first and foremost, river have been fundamental importance to the human history. Yes, very true. As we can see, rivers, right, plays a very important role. It somehow contributes towards the GDP of a national economy through generating of electricity and hydropower plants, which are normally constructed near the river banks. We have water from river is basic natural resources essential for the various human activities. Yes, very true. So we use it for agriculture purposes. Since India being an agrarian country, where the more than 85% of Indian population are totally dependent upon farming, and since we know that when in agriculture, you need good supply of irrigation facilities, right? So that is fulfilled by the rivers. Then we have river provides water for irrigation, navigation, and hydropower generation. So these are very, very important things, right? That's how the river gains the economic importance, right? Such as dam, so we construct dam in order to generate electricity, and at the same time there are demerits of dams, but yes, we do enjoy let's say facilities provided by dams, right, in terms of electricity. Then we have irrigation facilities that are possible only if there is lakes or rivers, right? Navigation, right, it plays very important role. Then we have the tourist attractions, right? So these are the some of the pictures that somehow explains us that and let us know about how important the rivers are for the economy of a country, because India, as I have already mentioned, right, agriculture country where, let's say, majority of people's livelihood is dependent upon the agriculture, right? So they need good equipment as well as the facilities necessity, let's say, facilities that are required for the agriculture. So from river we get water, ample of water for irrigation purposes, right? So after this, we have river pollution. So I think in general, right, rivers are, let's say, polluted mostly because of the human greed, as Gandhiji has mentioned once. Take as per your needs, not as per your greed. So that means we human being at this point, right, we are running after, most of the time we are running after our benefits, and we somehow lack the awareness about how important it is to conserve the rivers and other resources. So river pollution. So here I have some pictures that explains us how, right, intensely the rivers in India, right, are polluted by human activities. And here in this one, in the right, in the left side, you can see most of the pollutant items are garbages, right, and plastics, right, and on the right side you can see the industrial waste that's discharged into the rivers and leading to water to contaminate, right, and ultimately it affects the ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem also. So I want you guys to do some homeworks on this particular topic, river pollution, and how can we conserve the river, as Modi ji has came up with Ganga Bachao Andolan, or somewhat like that, for preservation of Ganga river, right, from pollution. So yes, it has been very effective, and I think during this lockdown also, as I have been reading one article in the news that due to the lockdown now rivers of India are less polluted. So it was something like that was mentioned in the newspaper. So I hope you will do your homework regarding this river pollution and the measures to conserve the rivers of India, not only India and in general, right? How we can contribute towards preserving or conserving the rivers from getting polluted, right? So with this I conclude here, and thank you very much, and have a good day, and take care, stay safe.